Okay, welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show. After, I'm sorry, I have to laugh. And I'm trying to contain my amusement, because I know what's coming, and I'm laughing ahead of time because I just can't help myself. A 106 loss to the Detroit Pistons. That I am quite certain is going to have, or quite certain is going to engender two reactions amongst many people in the fan base. I think one of those reactions is going to be, oh boy, maybe the Knicks did themselves a favor tonight. Maybe it's best that they don't want to play this, or that they don't play this Pistons team, which, of course, if the Knicks lose out and the Pacers win out, which Pacers could certainly do, is a possibility. I think that's going to be one reaction. And the other reaction is just the general Knick fan reaction this season anytime there's been any kind of a loss, which is just people losing their mind. And I have to laugh for a few reasons. Look, before I actually get into the comedy show that I feel that this night was, let me give the Pistons credit. They are indeed, as Alan Hahn and Kenny Albert said, I lost track when it got in the dozens, a very physical team. They absolutely are a physical team. And by the end of the night, you could tell Thibodeau was annoyed. You could tell Brunson was annoyed. You could tell Karl-Anthony Towns was annoyed. I would wager that part of that outward annoyance and part of them going out of their way to seek the contact that they sought tonight had quite a bit to do with positioning themselves ahead of this playoff series, where they know the Pistons are going to try to be physical, and they are anticipating that, and they are trying to already do their little bit of gamesmanship now, again, before the series even starts. But let's put that aside. So Pistons physical, good job by them. Knicks looked small at times with the people that they had out there in this game. Deuce looked small at times. A couple of their players looked small at times. The Pistons are a big team. They take advantage of that size. It is something to. It is one of their strengths. Give them credit for it. It's one of the reasons why they've been a very serious team for months now. And they're a serious team. No question about it. So there's that. And yeah, the Knicks actually had a bunch of their normal players: Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, Deuce McBride, who a lot of people think should be closing games over Josh Hart. He was out there. So they had a real team out there. We'll talk about the fifth guy over the last several minutes of the game, 5, 6, 7 minutes. And they completely evaporated. They look like a group of guys that had never played together before. I had to laugh also at Benji's tweets, like, what the hell are we doing? Why are we not running pick and roll with Towns and Brunson? It's a fair question. They look like a disjointed mess. Give the Pistons some credit for that. All of those things. The notion that the Knicks took this game even remotely seriously, I'm sorry, is laughable to me. I was cackling to myself when, after 46 minutes of game time, in which the two teams are going back and forth, and they're talking about, it's playoff intensity and it's a playoff atmosphere, and these two teams don't like each other, and yada, yada, yada. With, I think there was 2 minutes and 5 seconds left of the game, Alan Hahn's like, by the way, Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Mitchell Robinson not playing in this game. I'm like, what are we doing here? The Knicks sat out a guy who's been nominated for Eastern Conference Player of the Week I think each of the last 2 weeks. He's been playing at an All-NBA level. He just said, "You stay home. We're good tonight." Not to mention a guy who leads the league in minutes. I know, much of the chagrin of some people, but still. And they just told him to sit down, and their backup center, who is kind of important especially when you take out your starting power forward, which results in I don't know how many combined minutes Precious Achiuwa and PJ Tucker played tonight. 67 combined minutes between Precious Achiuwa and PJ Tucker, which is going to be 67 more minutes than they play in the playoffs, provided everybody else is healthy, combined. So I was like, it's almost as if that was thrown in like an afterthought. So that made me chuckle. They came out in this game with the defensive intensity of, I don't know about the second preseason game, maybe the third preseason game, not the fourth, maybe the third preseason game. That's the defensive intensity the Knicks came out of this game with. And despite the fact that they came out with that level of defensive intensity, they still went up after one quarter and then eventually led, I think, what did they lead by 11 points in this game? And then, yeah, again, Detroit came back, the whole thing. There was a moment in this game where the Knicks had a lineup of Cam Payne, DeLon Wright, Landry Shamet, Precious Achiuwa, and PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker, who has played, I think, 2 minutes in the league this season, was closing this game, taking the place of Precious Achiuwa. Look, again, give credit to Detroit. Like, they went out, they cared about the game, they got physical down the stretch, they stood their ground at home. They're a tough team. I am not going to sit here and try to make it out like they're not a tough team. They are a tough team. It's going to be a pain in the ass to play that team, and I fully believe the Knicks are going to play that team starting next weekend. They're going to be a pain in the ass. But there is not a blessed thing that I saw tonight that makes me, A, worry about playing the Detroit Pistons, and B, thinking that the Knicks should be worried about playing the Detroit Pistons, and that's going to be anything more than a 5-game series, if that. Like, Jalen Brunson tonight finished, he was 5 of 15 from the floor. Played 29 minutes, by the way. That's another thing I'd like to point out. 29 minutes for Jalen Brunson, 29 minutes for Karl-Anthony Towns. I know Karl-Anthony Towns was in foul trouble, so that explains a little bit of that. Either way, Mikal Bridges, 33 minutes. Deuce McBride, 5 of 18 from the field. Brunson was 5 of 15. Precious Achiuwa looked like he was going for his career high in field goal attempts. His career high was 16. He had 13, but I don't think he shot a field goal in the fourth quarter. I really thought he was going for it. We had multiple above the break 3-point attempts from Precious Achiuwa in this game. Like, how long do I have to go on to make it abundantly clear that this game meant absolutely nothing to the Knicks? And like, you could tell me, yeah, but like, they were out there. Brunson was out there. Karl-Anthony Towns was out there at the end of the game, the whole thing. Yeah, they were. But like, these guys know this game didn't matter to them. Like, it's very obvious. At this point, the biggest question to me is whether they care at all about what their playoff seed is. And that's the last part of it. I mean, Jason, shout out to Jason, who comes on the Knicks Film School halftime show for newsletter subscribers. He's like, they don't care about this game because they know, worst case scenario, if they need to win Sunday's game against Brooklyn, they'll just win that game. Which, okay, I think that's fair. I don't even know if like that's part of it. Regardless, a couple things that I observed, good and bad, that I do think are worth talking about, although I'm sure the conversation is going to be about all kinds of foolishness tonight. We could talk about Deuce McBride. Looked small a lot out there tonight guarding Cade. I know Deuce has been made out to be this sort of like Cade stopper, and credit to Deuce. He got, his hands in some passing lanes. He got 4 steals. That's a big deal. You love Deuce McBride in that sense. The notion that I want Deuce McBride as my primary defender on Cade Cunningham when Cade Cunningham has 3 inches on him. And I get that it was a lot of mid-rangers and it keeps Cade from maybe doing other stuff with the ball. I'm sorry. No. OG Anunoby, meet Cade Cunningham. That is your assignment for as many minutes or for as many games as this series lasts. That is the beginning and end of that conversation. For every minute that Cade is on the floor, I want OG Anunoby on the floor. And if you want to throw Mikal Bridges or Josh Hart or Deuce McBride or whoever else, obviously they're going to try to get Jalen Brunson into actions. They actually didn't even really try it as much as they could have tonight. I didn't think, at least. that's all the more reason to put OG Anunoby on Cade Cunningham, because there is nobody on the Knicks who navigates screens as well as OG Anunoby. And I think you saw that a couple times the other night against Boston. He did a really nice job. And he's done a really nice job navigating screens all year. The nice thing with the Pistons is they don't have a stretch five, you know? So if they bring in Brunson's man as the screener, and Brunson's going to be on probably Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, or whoever else, like OG Anunoby's going to blow up those screens. So not to say that I'm not worried about Cade. You worry about Cade. Cade's an all-NBA level player. I did me and DJ recorded a Patreon pod yesterday. I had Cade on my third team. I don't even think it's a question mark. He's an automatic third team player for me this year. Guy's awesome. Totally. Meet OG Anunoby. So that's where that's concerned. Brunson, I thought, just had a silly game. I thought Brunson it's almost as if Brunson was trying to not get back into a rhythm, but like trying to just, I don't want to say he was going out there practicing certain types of shots, like difficult shot making, but it seems like Brunson went out there and was trying to just hit difficult shots as opposed to trying to find easier looks or better looks at the rim. Again, no involvement with Cat in the pick and roll, even though there was a 5 on Cat. Like, that's something that they will, I would presume, spam every time if this game actually mattered. They didn't even go to it at all in the fourth quarter, which I think, again, is very telling. Towns, I thought, had kind of a silly game. The Pistons, if they're going to stick a 5 on him, like, I think that there are ways that he could exploit that in ways that he did not exploit that tonight. Like, we know he could be better. He will be better. Not worried about him. Precious, talked about Precious. Guy, I mean, he had a good game. Excuse me. Achua. Yeah, he had a good game, but like, again, you're not playing that guy at all in a playoff series. Same thing for PJ Tucker. It was cool to see Tucker stand up to who was it? This game clearly is like the effect of allergies. Stood up to Schroeder in the corner there and then hit a 3. That was a cool moment. Delon Wright, I thought he had some nice minutes. Campaign, some nice minutes at times. Landry Shamet, nice to see Landry Shamet get activated. A couple of back-to-back 3s. So that was all good stuff. Good to see that stuff from those guys. Yeah, I just I can't get worked up over this game. I don't have it in me. I'm sorry. You want to yell, you want to scream, you want to get very nervous about the first round. I'm here for any of those. I'll read all the super chats. I'll humor any opinions of that nature. I just don't care about this game tonight. I just really not that I don't care about it at all. Because, like, again, would you like to win it? Yeah, of course you'd like to win it. But in any real sense, am I going to care about this basketball game? Again, Cameron Payne, DeLon Wright, Landry Shamet, Precious Achiuwa, PJ Tucker. That lineup was on the floor tonight in the fourth quarter. Or maybe it was late in the third quarter. Sorry, it was a bit late in the third quarter. Doesn't matter. It was on the floor. That's all I got to say. I really don't know what else to say about the game. Again, happy to talk about whatever everybody wants to talk about. But that's really all that you have from me. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to the super chats. Right after, we have a quick word from our friends at Cornbread. If life's been a little crazy lately, you're out here playing PJ Tucker major minutes in game 80 of the season. I don't think life gets much crazier than that. You know what the one thing that helps me unwind is? It is Cornbread Hemp's CBD gummies. If you're looking for a natural way to relieve aches and discomfort, CBD gummies from Cornbread Hemp are formulated to work with your body, not against it. I talk about this sometimes because we have different products that we advertise on the show. I'm very leery, especially a month away from my 42nd birthday. Very leery about what I put in my body. And I'm only going to really make something a part of my routine if it aids me in some way. And the cornbread CBD gummies, I got the sleep variety of them. They have absolutely helped me sleep at night, get a better night's rest than I otherwise was getting, which when you're up late like me and you have to make those hours of sleep count. Cornbread hemp, the CBD gummies are the way to go, 100%. Right now, Knicks Film School listeners, you can save 30% on your first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS at checkout. That is cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS at checkout. Okay. Giddy up. Let us talk about this basketball game, which, again, I don't know what there is to say about, but I'm curious what other people want to say about it. Lido, what's going on, Lido? This looks like a Rikers Island intramural game. Yeah, it got pretty gnarly out there. The refs were letting him play, so to speak. I'm curious how the physicality is going to be in the actual series. I don't for a second worry about if this is a physical series that the Knicks are going to have a major problem with that, because in part, the guys that weren't on the court tonight, like OG Anunoby, pretty physical dude. Josh Hart has been known to be a fairly physical guy. Mitchell Robinson is a large human. The Knicks were playing. I mean, how many guys did the Knicks play tonight that were 6'3" and under? A lot. Actually, sorry. I think PJ Tucker is like 6'4". Anyway, thanks, Lito, for starting us off. Chris Carter, what's going on, Chris? Deuce needs to figure out how he's going to finish at the rim. Thank you. I knew there was something that I forgot, and you just brought it up. It was the other major thing that I wanted to talk about. So let me get back to that in a second. 80 games in, and I still don't know if Campaign is good or bad. Campaign's what he is. He's a backup point guard. He's probably, I would say, certainly better than league average backup point guard. I don't know that I would go too much better than that. I don't know if I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, he's one of the 5 best backup point guards in the league or one of the 10 best backup point guards in the league. He might be in that conversation. I think he's good. He's a minimum salary player. I have, from the moment that he was in the rotation, I have viewed him as a bridge to Tyler Kolek, who my guess is that he's going to be the backup point guard next year. I think he's good. I think he should play his 10 to 12 minutes in a playoff game, maybe 8 to 10 if you consider 5-6 minutes in the first half, and if it's a close game, maybe it's 3-4 minutes in the second half, and then you go from there. There were some not great moments tonight. His second half stint was not good, for sure. His second half stint was not good, and he's had some of those stints. He's had more of those stints because he was really a steady hand throughout most of the year, and tonight it was just not as steady. And here's the thing: you need your backup point guard to have a steady hand. And I wonder, is Tibbs taking something from his performance recently? Maybe. As far as Deuce goes, it was 4 times. They said that they did nail on the broadcast 4 times that he was not able to finish at the rim, and you weren't surprised at all because he hasn't been able to finish at the rim all year. He hasn't really been able to finish at the rim as a pro. And it is such a major pock mark on his overall game, because teams, when you could kind of play him to drive and you could play up on him when he's behind the line, knowing that, hey, as long as we stay connected, we're going to get a great shot of rejecting that shot or rejecting the shot once he gets to the rim. That's not good. That's not good. And that's one of the reasons, for as much as everybody, we all love Deuce for Pride here. Like, I just don't think he's ever going to be more than a 6 man. But then again, look, I said the same thing about Emmanuel Quickly. And, it looks like I was wrong there. So maybe I'll be wrong about Deuce. We'll see. Thanks, Chris. John Leary, what's going on, John? It's fine they lost. Would have preferred Shamet over Precious down the stretch. Pistons fans confident about this potential matchup. That's great for them. That's awesome. I'm very happy for Pistons fans, truly. I again, they've earned the right to have some level of confidence. They've earned the right to be excited about this playoff series, excited about the playoffs in general. They have an All-NBA player. They have a bunch of really good players. They are building something here. I'm not worried about this basketball team. I'm just not. Thanks, John. Chris Carter with another one. I've not enjoyed the way Cat and McCall have dealt with high pressure, intensity, and physicality tonight. Trying to remind myself that they called the Gobert trade a disaster in year one as well. Yeah, I mean, in general, they didn't do well with the pressure and physicality down the stretch tonight. I think, again, Cat, and it's funny because I thought Cat was having a really nice game, and then he just started to get in his own head, which, like, maybe I think if there's a silver lining to tonight, to the extent that, again, any of this mattered, I do think Cat gaining that experience and knowing for sure what the Pistons are going to throw at him, because remember, the Pistons, he didn't play in the last Pistons game, so this is the first game he's played in since their second time that they played against each other, which I know the Knicks lost as well. But yeah, it's good that he saw it. It's good that he knows what's coming. I mean, in terms of the intensity, I think this guy's been to the conference finals, and he was awesome in a toe-to-toe playoff series last year with the best player in the world. So I don't worry about him holding up in intense situations. And Mikal Bridges is a guy who's been to the finals. Again, was he great, in this game tonight? Whatever. The guy who I didn't think was very good was Brunson. I thought Brunson was completely, I mean, he was running the offense like, it was very strange. But, shit happens. Thanks, Chris. Kevin Danishevsky. Mikal is making my defense look really bad these last few games. But please, everyone, no crash outs. We were down 3 starters. Context matters. Well, you're down 2 starters. Hashtag no 53 wins. Yeah, I was upset about that. I thought about that as the game was winding down tonight, that this would not be a 53 win season, which was my official prediction. I'm looking up at our sheet here. I had 53. Let's see. A couple other people had 53. Kevin, you had 51. That's what I have written down for you. Busy had 50. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Drazov had 52. Okay. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, it sucks. One of these days they'll get 53 on the dot. Thanks, Kev. Hush Zoo. What's going on, Hush? Well, Tibbs, it's your job on the line. Oh, this was a job on the line game. Okay, here we go. Best of luck in the playoffs with your game plans. Our record against teams above 500 has been superb. Can't wait. Hush, go take a cold shower, please. I can't even comment on that. They have 3 from their fucking most important players. And you're talking about Tibbs' game plans. Hush Zoo, I don't care that we were missing players. Winnable game. Oh, man. I love you, Hush. That's great. This is good stuff. Thank you. Kara Goldenberg. What's going on, Kara? How you doing? Hi, John. One TV comment was regarding seating the TV to wife with White Lotus. Yeah, so just to give you the setup, we have this is the office / podcast studio, whatever. I have my big TV here and then my little TV, and then we have the den in the room next door where we have a TV. We have too many TVs in this house. Although I will say we don't have a TV in the living room. We tried to keep the TV out of the living room because we wanted to keep that kind of more of a conversational place, especially during dinner time, which I think has worked for the most part. I like that, having a TV in the living room. Just we have a TV in every other room. So anyway, number 2, Brunson isn't right. He hasn't been moving well these games. Too many minutes, no need. I don't know. We played 29 minutes tonight, right? 29 minutes for Brunson. I thought he looked good, or he looked better against Boston than he did tonight. I wonder if the fact that he turned the left ankle, it looked like at one point tonight, impacted him at all down the stretch. Maybe it just made him a little bit more hesitant, a little bit whatever. He was 3-9 from deep. Like he's clearly trying to get himself going from three, which I like. I only hit three. I can't be worried about Jalen Brunson. He's Jalen Brunson. Number three. This will be one hell of a playoff matchup. You know what? Everybody seems to think so. I don't see it. I mean, I think the games will be close. The games will be good. The games will be competitive. The games will be physical. The Knicks are just a better basketball team. They are. They're just a better team. I think this is, if Detroit's going to take from tonight, like, oh boy, we got him right where we want him. Good luck with that. Because I think it is going to be a bit of a different animal when, the ball tips in a week and a half. Thanks, Kara. Joe Dugan, what's going on? Joe, not skilled enough to beat Boston, not tough enough to beat Detroit. Dismiss everything after every loss, fine, but we're at game 81 with no identity, in my opinion. All right, that's your opinion. Does 50 wins count for anything? They're skilled enough to beat some teams. They're tough enough to beat some teams. I think the tough part, I'll give you this, Joe. I agree that this team, there's nothing about them that screams like this is what we are, right? Early on, we're one of the most skilled offenses, in the history of the game, and that's subsided the last few months as they've obviously had to deal with some injuries. Cat was injured, and OG was injured, and then Brunson was injured, and I think all of that stuff has taken a toll on them. But is it okay to just be a really good basketball team? With, 2 All-NBA players and another guy in OG Anunoby who's been playing at an All-NBA level for essentially a month now. And then, Cal Bridges is your fourth option. Josh Hart is your fifth option. Deuce McBride is, your sixth man. It might just be okay to just be a really good basketball team. I know they're not a great basketball team. They're definitely not a great basketball team. And that's why at some point in the playoffs, they're going to lose. But you miss me with the sky. And I knew it was coming, obviously, but you miss me with the sky is falling stuff after this game. Truly. Thanks, Joe. Juanon, what's going on, Juanon? Over-unders for Knicks Pistons first round. 1 fight, 6 technicals, 3 ejections. How are you beating this, John? Hashtag fire tips. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure look, here's the thing. The Pistons want that. They want it to be that sort of a series. And, it'll be interesting to see what kind of series it turns into. If it's a really, truly physical series, or if the Knicks just use Detroit's attempts to get physical with them to their advantage. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see. Thanks, Juno. Guy Huber, then. What's going on, Guy Huber? PJ Tucker minutes in a game with 3 big players out for rest. Coach is pretty funny, man. LOL. I hope all is well with the family, John. On to the playoffs we go. I don't... What is that supposed to mean? That the coach didn't know what he was doing because he was playing PJ Tucker big minute? How? Brian Windhorst, my guy. I love Brian. He always says, show me, don't tell me. The Knicks will say all the things after this game. No, we wanted to win the game and whatever else. It doesn't matter what they say. Show me, don't tell you. Don't tell me. When you play PJ Tucker 27 minutes in a basketball game and you play Precious Achiuwa, what was it again? 40 minutes in a basketball game? You are showing me everything I need to know about how much you care about that basketball game. What about this is funny? Other than the fact that what's funny to me is this. This is funny. The fact that people are losing their minds over this. That's the funny thing. Thank you, Huber. I appreciate it. Jeff J says, what's going on, Jeff? How you doing, my man? Yo, Macri, the amount of crashing out over a meaningless loss is nuts. No, it's not nuts, Jeff. It's not nuts. This is fandom, And I have to remind myself that the loudest people and the people who are saying the most stuff at the highest volume are not representative of the vast majority of the fan base who could watch a game like this and be like, all right, would have been nice if they won. Kind of annoying, some of the things down the stretch, but like, who gives a shit? I do think that is the majority reaction, but that's never going to be the reaction you hear, Anyway, Detroit made Precious look like Giannis. What the fuck are y'all on about? Enough. Hashtag piston phobia. Piston phobia. That's going. I like that. I might have to co-opt that one, Jeff. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. And everybody check out Casual Friday live, hosted by the one and only Jeff. Those have been killer all season, and appreciate you for doing it, man. Jason, what's going on, Jason? I'm kind of worried about Brunson. He stopped driving after the first quarter and settled for contested jump shots. We got to hope he's just holding back. Yeah, that's a fair worry, Jason. We have, what is it? It's Thursday. So they have at least 9 days until the playoffs start. I look, if he's not right, he's not right. And that'll be obviously a major deal. I'm not going to sit here and say right now that I think Brunson isn't going to be Brunson for the series. I think he's going to be fine. I think he actually showed you some things in the first quarter that were like, oh, he could own this team if he needs to. And then he kind of started going away from that, which is like, okay, well, whatever. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate you. Kevin Danishevsky, what's going on, Kevin? Again, thank you for the super chat. Some macro things because tonight didn't matter. Precious was exploited. Why can't Deuce finish? It's a great question. And Shamit reminding me of Bogey last year with a late case for minutes. It's a real case. The size is the size. I mean, is he going to get targeted every time he's he's on defense every time he's down the floor? Should that mean he doesn't get minutes? I think he's playing with confidence. I think you give him a shot. I think you give him a shot and then you see how it goes. And then if it goes well, you give him another shot. And if that goes well, you keep it going. Like, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy to give him a run and then see how it goes from there. So, yeah. Thank you, Kevin. And Mark, we'll do one more and then we'll do Mendo. Mellow Yellow, what's going on, Mellow Yellow? Hats off to the Pistons. They played great defense in the fourth. Cat and those turnovers in the fourth sucked. 53 wins. We blew it. You blew it. I can't do it, Robert De Niro. LOL. Let's freaking go, Knicks. Yeah, and like if you want to, again, it's like even in a game that doesn't have any meaning, you could take meaning from some stuff if you want to. And if you want to look at how Cat was, had some silliness down the stretch, it's not like he's never done that before in the playoffs. That's for sure. I'd like to think last season's postseason run was a big moment of growth for him, and he put a lot of stuff behind him from some previous, postseason foibles. Not that he had a ton of postseason experience before last year, but enough where people kind of criticized him in big games and what he was able to do. Yeah, I mean, like they've been one of the best crunch time teams in the league all year. So the notion that they can't close games, I think just tonight was a weird game. And again, I don't think you can overstate. You cannot overstate the impact of the fact that all of these guys knew that their coach and and as an organization that they were not playing this game to win. Like, you can't shut that off if you're a professional athlete going out there. Whereas, the other team is doing everything they can to win, and you're there and you're just like, no, they're missing their key guys. I just like, I don't know, I can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, that didn't matter. No, it matters. Okay. Let's take a quick break to talk about our friends. What am I going to spotlight tonight? What should I spotlight tonight? We'll do two things. From Mando. You know what the deal with Mando is. It is the full body deodorant that was formulated by a doctor who saw that, like, BO, man, it's a major problem, misdiagnosed, mistreated. And it is for you guys. I mean, I know we have some gals out there that watch the show as well. You can certainly use Mando as well. But I know, as a man who sweats a lot from many different cracks and folds and orifices of my body, Mando is exactly what I need to block odor all day and control it for up to 72 hours. So every product that they make, I should mention this because I don't think I've said this before, it is baking soda free and it is paraben free. So it is really as top notch as you could get in terms of the quality that they put into these products. It is America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now. You can get stuff like the Invisible Cream Pro Sport. You could get stuff like the Invisible Spray Bourbon Leather. And then I always say it's my favorite. It's the deodorant wipes, which you can just take a wipe out, and it's 24-hour odor control on any place that you decide to use it. It's really the best thing going. So if Mando's starter pack sounds like something for you, and you want to get yourself in on the action with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, plus free shipping, just take advantage of the special offer. Get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code KFS at shopmando.com. That is SHOPMANDO.com. Support the show. Tell them Knicks Film School sent you by using that KFS code. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. There you go. Okay. Kenneth Hatcher. What's going on, Kenneth? Thank you, Mac. Perfect opening. This game meant nothing. I just, look, I know sometimes when I'm going to say something that's going to piss off some people. I knew tonight the way I opened the show was going to piss off some people. I get it. I got to go with my gut here. As I just, like, the moment that it set in from the like the opening moment of the game, and then when PJ Tucker checked in, I'm like, okay, the jig is up. The jig is up. Man, the one thing I do wonder, I mean, is it possible they're trying to avoid Boston? Is that possible? They're not trying to avoid Detroit. They don't give a shit about playing this Pistons team. Are they trying to avoid Boston in round 2? I don't know. I doubt it, but something to think about. Something to think about. Thanks, Kenneth. Jesse Daniel, what's going on, Jesse? Hope it's all a Tibbs ploy to hide real playoff strategy. I mean, what? Like, playing the guys that he played? Like, again, there's no look. If putting aside the guys that didn't play any minutes tonight, put those guys aside. The fact that that Jalen Brunson played 29 minutes tonight when he played over that many minutes in both the Boston game and his first game back. I like that tells me, is this a coach who has ever in his life been hesitant to play guys real minutes if he wanted to win a game? Like, absurd. The level of minutes that are so absurd, you would swear that, like, something is wrong with this man. The fact that he played Brunson 29 minutes tonight is like, I mean, that just screams everything. You can't take any of these lineups seriously, And in terms of the execution down the stretch, which was just, again, frankly, silly. Like, I can't take it seriously. I just can't. I can't take it seriously. Thanks, Jesse. Haitian Ferg, what's going on, Haitian? Y'all need to relax and take a cornbread gummy. Go take a nice shower and get ready for the playoffs. Some of y'all really need a nice nap. Let's go, Knicks. Haitian, you always got my back, man. That's why I love you, dog. You always got my back. I appreciate you. Look, who knows? Maybe the Pistons are going to come into the playoffs and kick the living snot out of the Knicks. And win in 5 or 6 games, and the Knicks will be made to look silly, and the whole thing. Or I don't know, maybe the Knicks will fall to 4 and like they'll get beat. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that could happen that could make me look silly because I say a lot of shit, and so when you say a lot of stuff, some of the stuff is going to look silly. I gotta go with my gut tonight, and this one is just not something I could get worked up over. Thanks, Haitian. Appreciate you. All right, we got a couple from Dom here. What's going on, Dom? My man, Dom Cappuccini. I'm a little annoyed and disappointed, but not upset. Okay. I was a little annoyed. That's fair. It's fair to be annoyed. Which is funny because I honestly wasn't banking on the win. The late game gaffes were where most of my annoyance came from. Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me too. Is just like, and like it's are you running this like fakakta offense down the stretch because because you're trying to save it for the playoffs? Like, I don't know. It was very strange. Thanks, Tom. Another one here. Thank you again, Mr. Cappuccini. Even still, it is hard for me to be too negative when they're missing 3 important players. All in the while, they had control at times and went down to the wire with what they had. Last night can't take away Tuesday. Yeah, I know you're still bummed about Tuesday. Tuesday would have been nice. And I think part of people being perturbed about tonight probably stems from how the game ended on Tuesday, for sure, which was annoying. But like, again, you saw how they went out and defended in this game. Were they weren't defending the 3-point line at all. Like there was really very little in terms of like, I mean, I'm not going to say there wasn't an intensity, but like I did not see a defensive effort, certainly out of the gate, and then at various times throughout this game that was like anything close to playoff quality. So there's that. But then you reflect back on how they played against Boston, like that was a real game against a real team that they really cared about. I just, to compare that game side by side with this game, I don't know how you could do it. Thanks, Tom. And then we got one more from Mr. Cappuccini. Knicks fans, don't be a prisoner of the moment. It'll be okay. No, every game is the end of the world or the greatest thing ever with no in between. Those are the only 2 options. Either blow it up and fire everybody and it all stinks and we have no identity. And what were some of the other ones from this game? Whatever. Or, book the Canyon of Heroes. Those are the only 2. That's it. Just opposite ends of the spectrum. Thank you, Dom. Hush Zoo with another one. This cockiness that's not deserving whatsoever is odd. The same team played all 82 last year with real pride. I don't know. I find this kind of absurd. Okay, well, look, Hush, we'll agree to disagree. I don't think. Do you think? I mean, I don't know if I'm being cocky. I don't know what I'm being. I am reacting to a team that, again, was playing fucking lineups that to say they will never see the light of day is the understatement of the year. So, like, forget how they played. Just look at who they played. You don't even have to think about how they played. Forget it. Look at who they played and who they did not play. That's fine. That's one thing. To sit here and pretend like we are talking about a basketball team like the fucking Atlanta Hawks, who have like some games that they're really good and some games that they're really bad, and they're going to go into the playoffs like whatever, 2-3 games under 500. And it's like, I don't know, maybe like this, that, and the other thing. No, we're talking about a 50-win basketball team that has a real resume and a real track record. And there are guys that have been here for more than this year. Like Jalen Brunson has been here for years. Josh Hart, who didn't play tonight, by the way, has been here for years. OG Anunoby was part of last year's team. Karl Anthony Towns has been part of a successful playoff team that went to the conference finals. Mikal Bridges had been to the NBA finals. These are professional athletes who have played 80 fucking regular season games. And I think they could be forgiven for like, hey, we've come this far. Can we just start the real games already? Like, seriously. I just. Anyway, thanks, Hush. Always appreciate you. I am AK Legend. What's going on? This game doesn't matter. This will be a fun series. Yeah, I think the games will be fun. I still think they're going to win it. Maybe I shouldn't say 5 games. Maybe it'll be 6 games. But I think they're going to win the series. I think they're the better team. Yeah. But I think the games will be fun. I think the games will be fun. The games will be competitive, for sure. Thanks, I am AK Legend. Mr. McBagels. What's going on, Mr. McBagels? The Knicks play 4D chess for the first round matchup. No, if anything, it's for the second round matchup, but I don't even know if I could go that far. I don't know. Let's look. Let's see what they do tomorrow night. Let's see who plays tomorrow night. And obviously, let's see who plays on Sunday. I mean, I looked at the standings today, and the thing that I do think is interesting is that Brooklyn is pretty secure in their lottery position, to the point that if they won a game, it would not matter. The Pacers play Orlando tomorrow night. Now, Orlando just secured the 7 seed, which is something the last time I talked about this, I did not realize. Orlando's secure at 7. So Orlando, you figure, is probably going to rest their guys. I don't know. I mean, like, hold on one sec. Yeah, Milwaukee won tonight. So for the Pacers to, like, for the Pistons rather, to pass the Bucks, they would have to win both of their remaining games over Milwaukee. I don't think the Knicks care who they play in the first round. I really don't. I think they'll play whoever they play in the first round. If anything, I could see them caring about who they play in the second round. But we'll see. Thanks, Mr. McBagels. All right, we got a couple from Kara here coming up. Thank you, Kara. In my opinion, Brunson's air balls, missed free throws, and inability to create separation is 80-20, a lingering ankle issue rather than rust. His compromised movement suggests he needs to take it easy. You might be right about that. Maybe he does need to take it easy. Maybe he's not going to play tomorrow. He doesn't need to play in 2 more games. He only needs to play in 1 more game to qualify for All-NBA, which I think is meaningful to him. The reason I'm not worried is because there's 9 days at least before the playoffs. So, and I think the notion that he needs to take it easy, I think there's a balance, because he also wants to, you talk about rust. The only way to shake off that rust is by playing. So where is the proper balance? God knows I don't know, but I am going to trust that Jalen and the team's medical staff, I'm going to trust that they have a pretty good idea of how much he should be playing over the next 2 games and how much he should be playing tonight versus not. And Yeah, I just have to trust that. But is it part of the reason why he was off tonight? Yeah, for sure. I think that's fair. We got another one from Kara here. Last one, because it matters for the playoffs. Okay. At Villanova, Brunson played through an ankle sprain, less burst, hesitation, relied on footwork, but struggled to separate, seeing the same cautious play now. Yeah. It's fair. I don't know that I am worried because of the amount of time he has to get right for the postseason. If he is compromised, obviously that's a big deal. But hey, here's the nice thing. It's not like last year's team, where last year's team, if Brunson was not doing everything and then some, they could not score. They had no chance of scoring after January 27th. And that was a major problem. This year's team has Karl-Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. So I think even if he is slightly compromised when the playoffs begin, and I am not going to sit here and say that I think he will be, I think that they are better equipped, and he is a smart enough player to figure out ways to where he could still help the team, even if he is compromised. Thanks, Kara. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Sam Roth, what's going on, Sam? Wish there was a way we could install Devo's aggressive style on offense into Mikal. I'm not worried. Knicks in 5. Yeah, I mean, what about here's a crazy notion. What about just swapping out Devo for Mikal? Are we sure this team would be worse? How many people do you think would make that trade straight up? I know the contracts don't work, but still. DiVincenzo for Mikal Bridges. And is Leon Rose among those people? Is Tom Thibodeau among those people? Is Jalen Brunson among those people? These are the questions that I'm wondering and thinking about as we enter into this playoffs and we enter into this offseason. Not, whether the Pistons are going to out physical us. Although the two things do connect, because Mikal is a major part of your team and he is not the most aggressive guy in the world. And, I don't think it's going to matter in this series or whoever they play in the first round, but boy, you'd like to have somebody that with Devo's shit to him, because that dude had some real shit to him. It does have some real shit to him. Thanks, Sam. Bob Builder, what's going on, Bob? I appreciate your composure. The game has me sad. Bob, if the game has you sad, just repeat to yourself 67 minutes of PJ Tucker and Precious Achiuwa. And I don't say that to disparage PJ Tucker, because I thought PJ Tucker played a really nice game. And for that matter, so did Precious. I think both of them played a really nice game. 100%. Those were minutes that OG Anunoby was not playing. I've been sitting on here, post-game after post-game after post-game, trying to ward off people who want to put OG Anunoby in the same sentence as Kawhi Leonard. And we have now gone from that to, it didn't matter that the 40 minutes or 38 minutes or 42 minutes that he would have played if this was a game that they gave even the remotest shit about. We're going to replace that with a guy who is probably going to be playing on a minimum contract next year, and another guy who coming into tonight had played 2 minutes in the NBA this season. And we're going to act like that trade-off didn't matter. To say nothing of Josh Hart, which, again, I know everybody wants to not ship Josh Hart out of town, ship the coach out of town because he plays Josh Hart so many minutes, which, again, he shouldn't play so many minutes, and I get the gripe, and I don't disagree with it. But doesn't change the fact that Josh Hart is also a really good player and a really important player to this basketball team and helps them win games. When you put him up, like, there is a difference between saying, well, 35 minutes to Josh Hart is too many. He should be playing more like 25 or 30 minutes. There's a big difference between that and saying that having Josh Hart for 0 minutes and replacing those minutes with the likes of, who the fuck did they play tonight? DeLon Wright, who wasn't in a rotation for most of this year, and Landry Shamet and Precious Achiuwa and all these other guys, that there's no drop off. It's I cannot get there. I can't even get close to that. I'm sorry, but thanks, Bob. Armand, oh boy, Armand Birdneye. Don't be a panicking people. Panicking. What's that? Panicking? What is that? There's a double meaning there. Oh, Mark is telling me what that's in reference to. Again, I don't watch the news, so I genuinely wouldn't know. Thanks, Armin. Guy Huber with another one. John, what I meant is it's a meaningless game we didn't care about. And we have 2 rookies rotting while PJ Tucker gets big minutes. Okay. I don't, again, I just. So we're going to lament the fact that we didn't get Pacome Dot. That's what has you upset, Guy Huber? That we didn't see Pacome Dottier tonight? That's what has you upset. I got to tell you, my favorite part about this game is that PJ Tucker played. I love the fact that PJ Tucker played. I love it because I think he's a guy that everybody in that locker room loves. I think it's super, super cool that he got an opportunity to get in an NBA game this season and actually get out there and play. I don't know. I love that. My favorite moment of this game was where he fouled Dennis Schroeder and stood over him. I hope that I have many years ahead of me where I'm rooting for Pacome Dottier and Tyler Kolek playing big, important minutes and those guys like being good and stuff. To say that they are, I mean, I'll just repeat the thing I said a month ago that got everybody so mad at me. Of my top 100 concerns for the Knicks right now, any rookies on this roster are 101, 102, and 103. Sorry. Thanks, Huber. Drew P with another one. What's up, Drew? Boston series feels winnable after Tuesday night. Hashtag start Mitch. Yeah, well, I don't know. I'll tell you the same thing I said the other day. It's not nuts. It's not. I don't think I would do it. I don't think that's the pivot that I would make. Not in game one. Not in game one. I think you start out. You start out with your starting 5. You see how it goes. If you need to adjust, you adjust. But I don't know. I wouldn't make that change right off the bat. Does the Boston series feel winnable? I don't know. The winnable? Winnable. They can win it. I don't know if that makes it feel winnable for me, if that makes any sense. Thank you, Drew. Ray, what's going on? Sam Garcia's dad. When does Tibbs not want to win a game? What do we say? What do we take away from this? Anything? Again, I just like it's not always a coaching thing, but it's look at who was not in the lineup. Look at who was not available. Look at who played major minutes. Look at who did not play a ton of minutes. Jalen Brunson played 29 minutes. Mikal Bridges played 33 minutes. The guy who went on record saying, I'm playing too many minutes. And then guess what? Tibbs has played him multiple games of 40 minutes or more since then. Because he doesn't give a shit. He played him 33 minutes. The fact that he played Precious 40 and Deuce 38 or 39 or whatever, it was very clear. He's like, some of our guys were going to sit all together, and then our big-time guys, our starters, were just not going to play a ton of minutes. So, like, It's not that he didn't want to win the game. Of course he wanted to win the game. But, like, yeah. Anyway. Thanks, Ray. Kevin Danishevsky, what's going on, Kev? Kind of curious to get your thoughts on what Han said via a round one loss. I know we'll disagree here, but my fear is that they'll keep Tibbs if they lose. Oh, I don't think they'll keep Tibbs. I think Tibbs is gone if they lose in round one. And if they keep, I mean, I don't know. Look, what I think it's. Am I sitting here? So what did I say? The things Tyler Kolek and Pacome Dadier and Ariel Hukporty are on my concern list at 101, 102, and 103. I think me sitting here now and being like, well, if they lose in round one, they might still keep Tibbs. I think that probably is number 104. That said, like if they lose in round one, even I would be like, man, really? You're not looking to see what other coaches out there that can maybe do something? So I would find it strange. I don't know that it would cause me to be like go into next season being like, this is a lost cause. But I mean, frankly, I if they lost in round one, I certainly expect that they would fire the coach. Wouldn't you? I don't know. Thanks, Kev. Freeway Hustle at 21. I'm pretty confident after this one, at the very least. I know we can throw PJ and Precious out there to fuck the Pistons up if we need to. Hashtag who's scared. Yeah. I don't think those guys are going to play any minutes. But it is cool to know that they could come in and PJ in particular. Yeah. PJ in particular. Thanks, Freeway. Dan Hidalgo, what's going on, Dan? Do I think Mitch will have a minutes restriction in the playoffs? Great question. I think the minutes, it's a self-imposed minutes restriction. He said 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Where he's like, I just want to try to play 8 straight minutes or 7 straight minutes. What did he say? 7 or 8, whatever it was. Some single digit number. That many minutes in a row without getting gassed. So, like, do the math. If the dude could only play 7 or 8 minutes without getting gassed, and he's admitting to you that he could only play 7 or 8 minutes before he's getting gassed, and add those two numbers up, what do you get to? You get to 16 minutes. Do I think that he's capable of maybe being pushed a little bit more? Do I think that there's a world where they might play him his usual amount and then put him in there to end a second half, or even maybe to end a game? Like I don't think it's crazy, but yeah, I no, I don't think he has a minutes limit a minutes restriction in terms of like a medical from like the team doctors or whatever. But yeah, I do think it's kind of self-imposed. I do think so. Okay. We got one more and then we'll do the out-of-town scoreboard. Parrish Duggar. I know he wants to give Tibbs another extension. What's alarming is Cat and Bridges won't compete like they want to win a game like this win a game like this since once up. Since once up. I don't know what that means. It's exactly what's different in our DNA this year. Well, you swapped out Isaiah Hartenstein and Dante DiVincenzo for Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. I think that you are not as tough as you were last year. I think they probably they had no choice because Isaiah Hartenstein was not coming back. And I think Towns is a unique animal. I would never define Towns as a soft player. I also don't agree that he won't compete. I think he does compete. I think he doesn't always compete with his head. I think if anything, Towns is very tough. He's just not always smart. That's the bigger problem. Bridges, I look, I went on the podcast with John Schmeelk. We recorded last night, and I'm sure my comment got some people a little flustered, but I said I think Bacal's been soft this year. And there's a reason that I am extraordinarily, and I took him first in my most curious about rankings or big, like, I'm extremely curious about what he is going to bring to the table in the playoffs. So, it's big time pressure. Oh, we're doing the scoreboard. Okay. What do we got here? Okay. Out of Town Score represented by T Squared Social. Watch party tomorrow night for a Cavs game that, based on tonight, certainly doesn't look like the Knicks are going to be selling out to try to win. But we'll see. Maybe they clinch tomorrow night. Either way, Amon Shumpert's going to be on 42nd Street, starting off at Torches on 42nd at 3 p.m. So if you want to come down and chill with Amon Shumpert, meet him, have a chance to win a signed jersey, get in on the action to try to or to be among the first to have his new product TSA approved. Tons of good stuff. It's starting off at 3 p.m. I'll be there. Andrew Claudia will be there. I'm going to get a nice little sit down with Mr. Shump, and we will talk about his new endeavor. We will talk about the 2012-13 Knicks and all of the Knicks teams that he was on. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about his experience as an NBA champion. What else are we going to talk about? So, we'll talk about this year's Knicks, right? We got his opinion on this year's Knicks. So you could come on down, be a part of all of that, and then again, come on over to T Squared Social for the final regular season watch party of the year. And then one other thing before we do the scoreboard, Mark, if you want to get that other graphic ready. So I don't know if anybody knows about this. There's a card game. It's called Pickup. You could find it in Target stores. It's been featured on Inside the NBA. It's a very, very cool thing. I was lucky enough a few months ago to meet up and get to know the gentleman who invented this game. And he is nice enough. His name is Chi, and he's nice enough to come on down to the watch party tomorrow. He's going to set up about an hour before tip-off and with Pickup, with the card game. So if you want to come down and you want to play a basketball-themed card game, it's great for kids. It's great for adults, frankly. And it's a cool thing. So excited to have that going on as a little festive extra thing before the game kicks off or tips off, I should say, tomorrow. So a lot going on tomorrow. We got Amon Shumpert. We have the Pickup game, the whole thing. Okay. Out of Town Scoreboard, again, presented by T Squared Social. We got Bucks over the Pelicans. I mentioned that. Hawks over the Nets. Pacers over the Cavs. I should have mentioned that. That's why the Magic number still 1. And then Grizzlies Timberwolves halftime right now. A huge game. Grizzlies up by 5. So we'll see what happens there. Okay. Home stretch here. Freeway Hustler 21. Don't think Tibbs can maximize this roster, but I can never hope my team loses in the playoffs just to get rid of him. Well, that would be incredibly stupid. Any Knicks fans hoping for that, get the fuck out of here. Hashtag ride or die. Listen, if you're not a Tibbs guy, if you think Tibbs is not the answer, if you think Tibbs is out of date, if you think Tibbs can't guide them to the promised land, I think this is how you enter the playoffs. You enter the playoffs being like, hey, whatever happens, I should be happy. Because if they crap out in the first round or they get smoked in the second round, maybe even if they just lose in the second round, Tibbs is probably out. And if they go out there and they make it to the conference finals, or they look really, really good in the second round and lose a very close series, and it's to a Boston team or a Cavs team that has been much better than the Knicks all year, and then something about that series becomes much closer, the odds are that he probably did something right as a coach in that series, which I would hope that the critics of Tibbs are not so arrogant to be like, just ignore whatever that positive thing would be and to just, dig their heels in even more. But then again, I don't put that past anybody. So like it's a win-win. Either the team does well or you're probably going to get your wish, get a new coach. So I think there's no reason for anybody to be upset. Thanks, Freeway. We got a couple coming up now from Dennis DiSabato. What's going on, Dennis? Jumping in the chat late and probably an unpopular take, but is the 4 seed the worst thing in the world? Rest everyone. Milwaukee, Cleveland, better than Detroit, Boston. It's not the worst thing in the world. Maybe they're angling for the 4 seed. I don't know how they played the minutes tonight and how they went about their business tonight and how the guys they rested tonight and all those sorts of things. Certainly can't rule it out. I don't think it is about avoiding Detroit. I think it is, if anything, it's about avoiding Boston until the conference finals, which obviously presumes that they think they can get past Cleveland, which is a whole other thing. But thanks, Dennis. Dennis with another one. Cat gets the worst whistle in the NBA. It affects his play. Yeah, but that's the thing is if you're Cat, you can't let it affect your play. Let's say he does get the worst whistle in the NBA. Okay, you deal with it. You deal with it, and you respond appropriately. Got a quote here from Towns from after the game. That's Detroit basketball. They play physical. They up their physicality in the second half. We just didn't do enough to win the game, including myself. Take responsibility and move on to the next one. Yeah. Thanks, Dennis. That was New York Basketball's Twitter account, by the way. Guy Huber with another one. I'm not upset, John. I said it's funny, LOL. It's dumb, but funny. Look, I never know how to read. I have trouble, gaining sentiment or tone or any of those sorts of things from super chats. But I'm glad you're not upset. That's all. Thanks, Guy Huber. Kevin with another. Stop erasing Kevin McCullough. Hashtag cancel John. I forgot Kevin McCullough existed. I'm sorry. That's my bad. Thank you, Kevin. Not Kevin McCullough. Kevin Danishevsky. Manny Campos, what's going on, Manny? How are you, my friend? Fans complain all year about heavy minutes. The coach finally pulls back with seating all but locked in, and then fans freak out because we lose. Go figure. Look, you can't win sometimes. You can't unless you win. If you win, then nobody really cares about anything. If you lose, then you can't win, literally and figuratively. Man, that was good. Thank you, Manny. I appreciate that. I think that might be it. No, we got one more from Jessica. Jess Gausler. What's going on, Jess? How are you? Always appreciate you so much. Thank you for your private interactions as well as these super chats. I always got your back too, John. One day, you, me, and Haitian Fur can hang out, eat gummies. Yes, I'd love that. People who don't read the Substack are missing out. Let's go Knicks. Sure, why not? Let's give a shameless plug to the Knicks Film School newsletter. Put out some newsletters that I thought were pretty good over the last few weeks. Did an OG Anunoby deep dive, I think, on when did I do that? I did it at the end of the last week or the beginning of this week, one or the other. It was fun to do. And then today's newsletter, I had a lot of fun going back through the Boston game and really trying to dissect what mattered, what we should be hopeful about, what went well, what maybe didn't go well that we should still be hopeful about. So yeah, check out if you want to, have a daily Knicks newsletter delivered to your inbox for, I promise it's not that much money. And you could also I think try a week free. You could go month to month, so you could try it out and cancel. I won't be offended, I promise. Yeah, it's on Substack. Just Google Substack Knicks Film School or Knicks Film School newsletter, any of those things. It'll direct you right there. So yeah, thanks, Jess. Appreciate that. All right, Sri, we got one more. What's going on, Sri? Had the same reaction as you, John. Missing key players and the Pistons are too young. Playoff MSG will scare them, in my opinion. Thinking of when we swept the Hawks, but then got cooked in the playoffs. I've thought that a couple times. I think the difference was that both of those teams were kind of young and unproven and untested, and the Hawks were just a better basketball team, and the Knicks were exposed kind of for what they were. I think we know what this Knicks team's flaws are. Like, I don't think that there's any like, oh my God, the Pistons are doing this, or whoever, the Bucks, the Celtics. Oh my God, they're doing this thing. What are we going to do now? Like, we've seen teams pull out all the stops against this Knicks team. We know they know what's coming. We know what's coming. Everybody knows what's coming. And they have players who have responded to adversity in massive, massive, massive spots. As for whether Detroit's going to be a little bit, like the bright lights of MSG are going to scare them, you never know. You never know. I'm if I'm being honest, there's a little part of me, not that's worried, but like round one against the Cavs, that place was game 3. That place was fucking electric. And it got to Cleveland, and I think the crowd was the best player, was better than any player in that game 3 win. Last year against Philadelphia, game 1, again, that team inspired people, and the crowd was ready, and I think played a factor in all of the games. This year, like the MSG crowd, look, they're always going to be good. Knicks fans are always going to be good and loud and everything. This year's team obviously is, just watch tonight's postgame, right? It tells you all you need to know. This year's team, I think the city does not have that same level of belief, level of excitement. I would hope it's a freaking playoff game and that they're going to have home court. It's going to be game 1. So, I would hope the place is fucking rocking, but what happens if they go through a rough patch or they go, it's a little, the team they're playing goes on a run. We'll see. We'll see. But just keep it at a buck. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Sri. And then we got another one. Will Oliver. Berman, relax, y'all. I don't know how you do it, John. No, it's I don't know, years of practice. I mean, what do? I read comments and then I talk about them. As I said, I have the best job in the world, and I'm very lucky to have it. And we're very lucky to have all of you, the Knicks Film School faithful, who come and watch and support the show and give super chats and the whole thing. Thank you, everybody, for checking out another episode. Thanks to Mark on the 1s and 2s. Don't forget, come on out tomorrow night to Torches for the Iman Shumpert event, and then come on across the street to T Squared to the watch party. And I think that's it. Everybody have a good night. Deep breaths. Take a shout out to Cornbread, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace out.